I'm here at the Washington State University campus at Martin Stadium, home of the WSU Cougars. Now, if you're not into college football, maybe just keep scrolling. But if you do like football and you do like stadiums and you do like Washington State University, here are some things about Martin Stadium that you might not have known. Washington State University is located in Pullman, which is not a big city. So it makes sense that this would be the smallest stadium in the conference. But most people aren't aware of just how small it is. You could actually fit every man, woman, and child in the city of Pullman into this stadium and still have room left over for the surrounding towns of Colton, Uniontown, and probably Colfax. I cannot think of any other stadium in America that has that kind of ratio going on. Now, while this stadium was built in the 1970s, football has actually been played here since the 1920s. This flat area next to the Student Union building was known as Rogers Field for many decades. But then in 1970, the original wooden grandstand on Rogers Field mysteriously caught on fire. Coincidentally, the exact same thing happened to the wooden grandstand at the University of Idaho, 10 miles away. As far as I know, they never caught the arsonist. But the loss of the grandstand is what allowed them to build the seating bowl that we use today. The stadium is named for Clarence Martin, the former governor of Washington in the 1930s. Interestingly enough, he was a Washington Husky. So there's that. Now, while the layout of the stadium may not catch people's eye, there's actually some interesting innovation in its history. Like most college football stadiums built in the first half of the 20th century, this stadium was built with a running track along the perimeter. As best I can tell, WSU was the first to lower its field level to make the square footage of the field smaller, adding more seats closer to the action. As a result, this is maybe the most intimate venue around for watching Division I football. Finally, we have the issue of expansion. Other than the lowering of the field, this stadium has been more or less the same since the day it was built. Above the original grandstand, there was a small press box held up on steel stilts. Legendary coach Mike Leach famously said,
"This press box used to be a tree house. It wasn't a press box. It's like the Swiss Family Robinson would have never lived there."
And he was right. It was terrible. There's hardly any space. There were no bathrooms. The whole thing looked like it was going to fall onto the stands below it. But years before they built the luxurious press box that we're currently standing on, athletic director Jim Sturck had an idea. The Northside student section needed more bathrooms. Back then, all they had was porta potties. And so in the early 2010s, when they renovated that side of the stadium, they poured a series of massive concrete foundations in anticipation of building up. Somewhere on the internet, you can find renderings of this unbuilt upper deck. So the next time you're buying nachos or pretzels underneath the student section, you are standing on the most overbuilt concession stand in all of college football.
60-second timer has gone.